put it there. I just want a bigger dick.
I just want.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So I identify as a
There's our
black
intro.
man.
That is our intro.
Let's just put it this way. I want a bigger dick.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Sit down, Dan.
So let me give it to you
That's
straight.
my power pose.
No.
I want pictures of Spider-Man.
This is the power pose.
Oh,
Oh, that's the coach.
No, that's the cool. No, that's the cool older teacher.
Some PE shit right
and
there.
he's like,
I'm
he's
gonna
getting
level
on the-
with you.
Yeah, he's getting on the levels of the student. That's how you know he's cool. And he's not like a teacher anymore.
Yeah.
He's like a kid.
Yeah.
It's so cool when you can actually relate with the adults.
I hate adults.
I meant as a kid, but yes.
Dan, remember you want to talk into the mic?
I know. I wasn't doing that for that. I was just talking.
Talk with
Yeah,
the
no.
mic.
Put the mic within you.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
Why do I hear
Or
his
else it
stomach?
gets the hose again.
Don't worry about
I'm
it.
ready. I'm ready.
Oh
I'm
my
ready.
god.
Can you hear me
Is
digesting?
this puppy dressed up as a Greek god?
No, that's Shiver.
No.
Why did you think that was Puppy? That's a woman.
Okay.
Did you mean there was another one before that?
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
Puppy's
more
not
people there
casting.
with her.
Puppy's playing the game.
I know,
dude.
but he could have jumped in.
He's both playing and casting at the same time.
casting his own game.
Actually, Puppy's cast would probably be the
He's
worst
like,
thing
"What?
ever.
No wonder they win. He's watching the enemy
See,
movement."
the guy on the left. Does he not look a little bit like Puppy?
A bit, but that's
Right?
Lacoste.
That's what I'm saying. He looked a bit like Puppy.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right, let's get this thing started. Welcome to another episode of the Entertaining Stupid Podcast. My name is Buddy Jayson, and my amigos with me today are...
Rheal.
Sylvan.
Dan.
So, it's the four of us here today, and what the fuck are you doing
are you
there?
doing?
What was that?
I was just.
Did you have to loosen up the ball sack there?
No, this is. Yeah.
All right, well,
You
I
are
just
fucking
want
weird.
to say all my we think we're funny. Like everybody here listening, tell us how wrong we are. Sylvan,
I'll tell us how wrong we are.
everyone around here at this table at one point has lived in your house.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
That's weird.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, because right now it's currently you and Dan.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm the newest and the most improved. I'm the piece. I had another.
He's the leftovers.
I was gonna say piece of resistance, but I could not remember the rest of the saying. So I said peace.
I'm the
And then I
piece
forgot.
de resistor.
You know, to me, I'm the best roommate ever already.
What
To
do you
yourself?
what do you bring to the table that Ray and I didn't?
Joy.
Smothering neediness.
Give him that. I didn't bring any joy.
No, see, because when he gets home, he thinks to himself, not only would I want to spend this next little bit of my day like recovering and kind of having my own time, I'd like to spend it with someone else who's had all day to do other stuff and then wants to tell me about their day. That makes him live more. He appreciates it.
He wants to come home and be vented at by somebody
Yes,
else.
that's
Yeah.
the best thing.
Yeah.
Or like, for example, I'll just like stand in his doorway in like weird poses because that's what friends do. That's what I bring to the table.
in various degrees of
Clothing.
I was gonna say
lesser clothing. I've known already. He's only been living in my house for like a week. I've known that 2 of his pairs of underwear have holes in them.
I threw them both out because
Front
they
or
were really
back?
bad.
Back and side.
Yeah,
No, it's-
The one was like the full ass cheek.
I didn't
It's just
realize
gone.
until after I peeked. I'm like, is it? And because I was doing car stuff that day and I ripped them.
He fucking farted a hole straight through him.
Yeah, apparently so. So other than the varying states of degeneration of my underwear, other than that, it's been smooth sailing. I've been nothing but, the wind beneath his wings.
Now, Sylvan, would you say it's like coming home to a nagging wife?
or an energetic child.
That's probably more like it.
It's like
And I feel your life.
Riley and Dan are sitting by the door.
Pretty much. Sylvan.
I don't even notice when he's home. I don't even know.
Oh my god, can you do that one time? Just you and Riley sitting at the door.
I've never done
What do you do when I leave? Wait for you to get home. That's what Dan is.
No.
Dan is the Patrick to my SpongeBob.
I have many things. I can do if I want to. I just don't want to. I'm waiting there. You know what it is more so? It's a sacrifice. I'm willing to sacrifice to make his entrance into the home more more joyous.
Sacrifice
more full of
what?
I could be
My
downstairs-
joy for his joy.
Just shut up.
He didn't say bring your joy. He just brought joy.
I could be downstairs and I could just leave him, and he could come home to an empty house
Like me.
with no love.
Like you.
And yet I come upstairs and I say, "Hey, you're not alone. I'm here too."
I'm here for you. And he hugs you.
Yeah, and I hug him,
and
I
gently
hold him.
caresses your nipples.
And as he cries and he collapses in my arms, I sit there and I say, "It's okay. It's okay."
That
And see,
happened
that's
one
what
time.
yeah, one time too many.
Can I
Now-
start rating some boy love
Yeah,
mango
that's
on
essentially what
this?
happens.
Fuck it, why not?
So, long story short, I'm very quiet. I'm very respectful. I definitely don't have weird eating habits that he has to be a party to. He does have to be a party to quite a few weird eating habits.
His room is right across from the bathroom. He hears everything.
Oh, and I use that bathroom very well.
Abuse.
Abuse is more like.
now,
What?
Dad, what did Sylvan say? You ate a pound of yogurt for 4 days straight?
He's on 5 days now.
And I have
Who keeps buying the yogurt?
Him.
I do.
It comes in a 2 kilogram bag.
It goes in 2 kilogram bag because it's cheaper.
Bag?
Yeah, it comes in a bag.
mean
with a
bag?
nozzle, and,
And then
you
you
just
just
drink it
sit-
straight out of the bag.
And
Are
then
you serious?
Yeah. So half the time, I'll just stand in his doorway or near him, and I'll
Fucking chug fucking yogurt.
chug yogurt. And then I don't know why I've had such active bowels the last few days.
That's
And
amazing.
I think it may have to do something with the yogurt, but I don't want to admit that.
You have such an active culture in your stomach.
I do. My gut biome is so healthy. It's unbelievable. And I was even telling Sil, this is why I don't break bones. Because I love dairy products. I don't have any broken bones. Never have because of the strength of the dairy.
I'm just picturing him drinking yogurt
Yeah.
from a bag.
Like this. And I was
What
like,
the
It's
fuck?
as disgusting as it
and,
sounds.
and half the time I only have boxers on. Nothing wrong with that.
None of that
Just
makes
standing
sense.
in my doorway in boxes with a hole in them, drinking fucking yogurt.
Nothing wrong with that. That's what friends do.
You just cheer at that.
So those are
point.
only some of the things that I bring to the table.
It's only some.
I mean, granted, there was the one time where I was literally crying. I was laughing so hard because you failed for like a solid
It was
3 minutes
bad.
straight.
Actually, it's really bad. First off, me ripping my pants.
No,
what
you
was it?
basically you farted and I thought you shit your pants because it sounded wet. So you had to go check that, and then you were like, "No, it's dry, but I need a ginger ale." So you went to go get a ginger ale. You tried to crack it open, but the tab broke and it only partially opened. So then you tried to grab a spoon and just break the
How do you
the,
fuck this
the
up?
seal on that, but that didn't work. So you grabbed the can opener and just opened it like it was a can of soup, and then you went to pour it into a glass, and then you poured it instead of like you would pour a beer, so there isn't a whole lot of head. You just dump the whole thing in, and it fucking overflowed.
Yeah.
And every time I'm laughing harder and harder, and you keep yelling at me not to laugh at
Yeah,
you
because he
it
keeps
makes
laughing at me.
and you kept fucking up more and more, and I would laugh harder and harder.
Yeah.
It was just one failure after another.
It's a beautiful moment.
Yeah, in the very end, the very end of it, I'm like, oh, my boxers.
Oh yeah, and
My
then you ripped
boxers.
your boxers.
I ripped my
I
boxers.
think Matt was right in the last podcast. I should just stick up hidden cameras all over that house, and we can just see the daily life of Dan.
It's an interesting thing. And I've now accepted that, especially in the mornings. 'Cause I always know in the mornings, I've now turned into the Lord of the Dogs in the mornings. Because if he ever shut his door, then about 6-7 a.m. I get Riley jumping up. Hey, what's going on? In my face, and then Hitch goes and starts whining and then Riley gets upset because she doesn't get as much attention as Hitch. It's a vicious cycle.
So you just gotta lay in bed petting both dogs.
And it's but then you sit there and they both want to get closer to you, and then yeah,
Sylvan comes
See?
down and there's Dan spooning.
it's a weird It's an arms race thing, you know.
I set boundaries. The dogs weren't allowed in my
Yeah,
room.
they don't go into his room.
That's why they love me more.
Well, what was it? The one time I was just lying in bed watching YouTube videos, and Riley would just lie at the threshold of my door all the time and just watch me.
Yeah.
And then one time she just started slowly crawling into my room, and I was like, "What's that sound?" And I sat up, and she was halfway into my room, like, "You're not supposed to be in here." And she just slowly starts to back up.
She's real cute though.
Yeah.
It's like a small child.
Yeah.
They're just testing those boundaries and seeing what they can get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Okay, so back to topic. I bring joy to Sylvan's life. That's what I do.
And by that he meant he bought the IKEA sign Joy.
Live,
Brought that to
laugh,
the
love.
house. Yeah.
And I fill his life with joy.
Live, laugh, ginger ale.
So much ginger ale.
I love ginger ale though.
Okay, I only lived there for one summer.
Yeah, it was like
It was just a couple of months. Yeah.
a couple months. Yeah.
Still the best roommate.
Yeah.
I was in the basement. Didn't come out from the basement.
I'm in the basement. I'm the same way.
I didn't stand in his doorway.
There's
In
difference.
your boxers.
I haven't had a
Drinking
roommate
yogurt.
ever, so
He only
it's
found me
weird
in his
for
bed
me.
once.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong.
No, so I'm easily the best.
All right, you tell yourself that.
Is he paying rent?
Yes, he is.
I did. I paid rent.
Is he
I
paying
guess
rent in
it's all-
cash?
No,
Yes, it
you
is.
Well,
transfer.
in handies.
Yeah, in money.
I'm paying him, and see, I bring joy into his life, and now I can watch over the canines because he trusts me. And then what else isn't there? I'm the whole package. I even drove McDonald's. Who else is gonna do that? Oh no, he drove me.
I drove you.
It doesn't matter. I let him drive me. There we go.
I misheard you and said I even dig my own tunnels. And I'm like,
I technically do in 7
He's
days.
ambitious.
I dig my own tunnels. I dig my own tunnels.
So
What
do you
is
want
that?
an underground catacomb?
I mean, that just makes a whole new set of logistic problems.
That's true.
That's just a whole lot of permits
Now-
I got to get from the city.
Now, on the topic of roommates, now we have to discuss, actually, here, better yet, because I know he's had all of us. If you were to say in a nutshell, what is the roommate in a nutshell?
What are you
For each of
asking?
us.
Like, what are
if you
you
describe each of us
asking?
as a roommate in a nutshell.
Ghost.
Yeah, Ray is non-existent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jayson is the good one. Yeah. And then there's Dan.
I'm the good one!
Riley number 2.
No, I'm the
Not
good
Riley's the good one.
You're not the good. I'm the good one. Shut up, Jayson. Shut up.
I did dish.
Yeah, Ray
I
did
did
dishes.
dishes every once in a while.
Hey, I did dishes once.
Yeah. Jason is like we lived together for
4
4
years.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Did you ever see his butt?
no.
Wow.
Was he ever
So Dan's
semi-
already beat Jayson on that front.
Was he semi-nude in front of you?
Very rarely.
Well, that's the whole reason.
Jason, you got to step up your game.
Yeah, you're basic.
Yeah, because I have something called decency.
No, I have something
and
called
dignity.
communal bonding. If you were to see me more often than not in a vulnerable state, like a dog that shows its belly to someone else, saying I'm vulnerable, I come around to him half the time with boxers on because I'm telling him, hey, I trust you. I'm vulnerable.
At,
around you."
at some point, Syl's just gonna be in the shower. Dan's just gonna pick that lock and then join him in the shower. Communal living, right?
You share water. It doesn't waste water that way.
Syl opens the shower curtain and Dan's shitting on the toilet.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
See, I can say that I have a lot of patience. I don't have that kind of patience.
No, he's.
You
not-
get the shed.
So, like, obviously, in a nutshell, what you,
You
meant
can
to
live
say
in the
was, I'm
backyard
best.
with the rest of the dog shit.
The rest of the dogs.
I mean, what's important in a roommate? Pretty much just being sort of clean.
And then staying out of each other's business. But
Yeah,
I don't,
as
I don't
long
like,
as
I
you
don't
guys
like
just-
doing that.
Dan doesn't like.
I don't like doing that. His life is my life, and my life is his life. We share. We're two halves that make a whole. You
God,
know?
if you both had girlfriends,
No, I won't. Cause
that'd be
I'm,
just.
I'm too alone.
If I had a girlfriend, Dan wouldn't be living in my house
She'd be like, "Why do you spend more time with Dan than me?"
Kick me out of your house if you had a girlfriend.
without even a second thought.
What, for her a place to live?
So she can have the basement.
So she can have the
You
basement.
but if you do that, you're common law. Then you're fucked. Because if she lives in the same house, then you
Yeah.
actually
Shit happens.
no. You'd invite her over. I'd still stay in the basement. You'd like it if I was there. Because then I would also be the levity. I'd come in when you guys had a fight, and I'd come in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna assume her name is."
Or she
Brenda.
would just be very uncomfortable and then just not talk to me anymore.
No, I have a measured effect of comforting people.
Mom, Dad, stop fighting.
Stop fighting.
One time I definitely said to people, because there was one time a friend of mine whose family started fighting over scratching the Lord of the Rings outside of the disc, and I was the one that broke it up by saying, "Hey, it's just a DVD." It's just a DVD.
Thank you for your sacrifice, Dan.
I am the one that breaks apart conflict. That's why when I come, Syl comes home, he shuts his door. That's why I like to lock pick, or I like to try to worm my way into his door, or I'll put my face right next to the
He puts
crack.
his face right into the
And I'll
crack
say,
and starts
"Hey."
talking to me.
Well, because that way I'm not invading his privacy. I'm the best roommate. That's what everyone's getting from this. Everyone's getting the same thing. I'm respectful of boundaries.
Some motherfucker.
I give him a space. I actually said, I even set myself, when he gets home, I say, give him 30 minutes. 30 minutes, that's all. That's a lot of time. And then at that point, it's free game.
Okay, that's legit. That's where it's like when you come home after work, you need that like 15, 10 minutes or
Yeah.
something just to decompress, organize yourself, and
That's
then
fair.
someone can start talking to you.
I will, every once in a while, I'll talk to him through the door, but I won't open the door if the door is closed. I respect that boundary. I respect the door boundary.
Someone's like,
And also in case he's ever jacking it. Because, you never want to go in there in case someone's at the,
So
At
so
the
what
business.
I'm imagining is that Sil brings home a girl and they're getting comfy in the room, and then you can just hear from the vent Dan cheering on.
Yeah.
No, not the vents. He's at the door.
I'm
He's
just
like,
sitting there
he's
with
talking
Angus
to you
going,
under the threshold.
Yeah.
Just like,
Come on, buddy.
They're scratching at the door. She's like, "Oh, is that the dog?"
No.
Yeah, but then you get to sit there and go, I'm always supported. Like, I'm like a sports bra. I'm there to support you in the worst of times. You're out there, you're running, you're jumping, you're hurdling, and I'm there with you the whole time, and I'm keeping you comfy. Sure, some sweat gets in the creases, and maybe it gets gross, but I keep it together because that's the kind of friend I am. I'm a supportive friend. Now, as I read it, he said, Ray, I didn't even notice him, so non-existent. He pretty much like might as well been a pet. He didn't even notice you. You know, Jayson, he says good one. He doesn't mean that. He's just trying to be polite to not hurt his feelings. What he really meant to say is, Dan, truly, I've just increased every roommate since the beginning, and now you're the echelon. You're the top. You're the cream of the crop because you rose to the top.
Who'd be the best roommate?
Well, that's
Stefan?
I just answered that.
Yeah, probably. You'd be good.
No, he's too planned though. He's too organized.
All I'm getting from this is Dan cares too much. Like, what was that story with Matt? He went on a date and you were at the
God.
bar.
I was not
texting him.
I was
while
not.
watching his
This
date.
is a misconstrued. Okay, I happened to be there before for unforeseen circumstances, and we cannot prove in a court of law that I was there for that explicit reason. I, as an adult kid, to go to any eatery I want at any time I want. It was just coincidental that I happened to be at the same one as Matthew, and it was at the perfect vantage point where I could stare at him through about half his date. I only stayed for half. I didn't stay past halfway point. Like, I was only there for like an hour watching him. That's not wrong. That's okay. Everyone would have done that. And then I waved at him, and he saw me, and immediately when I saw me, I'm like, I think I may screw this up for him. He's like, now he knows I'm here, and that's kind of creepy. So I did like leave after that.
Could
but,
you
like,
what was Matt's reaction when he saw Dan?
oh, you don't want to see the face. The look on his face was like it was a mixture of disbelief and why the fuck are you here? And a bit of like laughter as in like it's a joke, but then the second point was why are you here? More concern.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah, even she looked back and I like hid my face.
He's got the newspaper.
The only thing
Got,
that
like,
would have made
the
it better,
glasses with the
yeah.
nose and mustache on him.
He's got a disguise on.
There's
And
nothing wrong with that.
What is it? From what Matthew has recalled, all you did was just order a ginger ale or something like
Yes,
that.
I did.
Just-
And the bartender was pissed at me too. He's like, "Why the fuck are you here?" Because I ordered one ginger ale and I just kept getting refills. Because I don't want beer. I just wanted ginger ale because I love ginger ale. And I was at the bar and I remember the next guy next to me started to talk to me and I was getting so pissed. I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! I don't care. I want to look at my friend and watch his date."
I'm being a creeper. Don't bother me.
Yeah, I'm being a creeper. Like, that's why you're at the bar by yourself, too. Like, do your own creeping. Let me do my creeping. We'll creep together, no problem. Just, like,
We got to creep separate.
because, like, he was sitting there, like, and it brought up something about his wife, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't
My
care.
wife left me to date.
like,
Shut
That's
up.
a shot for the bartender, not me.
This is his job. He gets paid for it. He tip him, not me.
Get this man a shot of Jaeger and leave him be.
I had to watch my friend on his date. That's not
Okay.
creepy. That's commitment.
That is both the funniest thing and the creepiest thing.
A little bit
That's
of both.
so messed up.
I've also once tried to, while Vince was sick, I tried to bring medicine, like a care package over his house.
Yeah.
And he didn't let me in, so I actually broke into his house to get him it. And then he saw me while in his computer chair and said, "Dan, this is a bit crossing the line. This is quite creepy." And I sat there and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm being nice. I'm giving you I'm like, and then it clicked in. I'm like, okay, this is a bit creepy. Fair enough.
Maybe there's something wrong here.
So
And even said, he's like, "Danny, I'm not dating you. Go away." The kind of thing. I'm like, I get that.
So the next time Sylvan gets sick with like a cold or something like that, you're gonna be in his bedroom
Yes.
spoon feeding him.
I'm gonna go
hot
and
chicken
live with
soup.
Rheal for like the week that I'm sick. And
You wouldn't dare.
I'll still spoon feed you.
You wouldn't dare.
Okay, good.
Just not in a weird way.
You love the attention I give you. Because he's been lonely. And now I've filled that void.
I can just imagine like one of us is getting married. We're standing at the altar. Dan is just right like on your shoulder, like looking.
Fuck, Dan's wearing the bridal dress.
And I just want to know what she feels like. And I want to know the love that she feels. No, if anything, I am the friend that I just want them to succeed. That's all it is. It's kindness. And maybe a slight bit of neuroticism. But like that's off the side. We don't know about that.
He's like Buffalo Bill. He just wants to wear your skin.
There's a times though when I do wonder that, and I'm like, maybe I should just I can go in and I can organize his room, and then maybe I and I figure out what's what, and then maybe I take a few of his weapons and I practice with him outside in the yard, stuff like that.
We got to figure out Syl's weakness.
I
don't have
Oh, it's easy. Constant communication. You just literally stand there and talk to him to a point where he goes, shuts down. Like,
I can't. I just can't anymore.
like the kill bots reaching
It's
their
like
limit.
nose starts bleeding.
He reaches his limit where it's like, yeah.
God damn it, that's amazing.
Yeah, just unrelenting conversation, and he folds.
Efo.
All right, let's move on from there.
Now that we traumatized Sylvan.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that we've
Still
traumatized
like
Sylvan, I think Ray, you want to talk about some traveling that you did?
Oh, well, I was gonna say, speaking of weddings.
Oh right, yeah, you went to a wedding. I
Yeah,
remember that.
that's my cousin's wedding.
A bit dumb of him not to cancel, though, I will admit.
Okay, so that's kind of what I was thinking here was. I don't know. It's like I go on Reddit all the time, and it's kind of a certain echo chamber, more leftist, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like it's one of those. If you're not wearing a mask in public, you're a fucking demon, heathen, purgatory.
Yeah, like
on
witch
you.
hunt.
Yeah, like you're the worst person ever. And I just started thinking, I'm like, oh man, all the shit I've done, they would have purgatoried me as well. Because for work, I was in Kindersley for a week pulling a route, and then drove straight to Lacombe, Alberta, for a wedding.
Yeah, so you're crossing lines
Crossing in provinces. It was all family, and like they kept it as much of a bubble as they could. We didn't go to any public areas. It was like the wedding was outdoors in nature in this little. It was a nice little spot. It was like surrounded by trees, right by the river, and they built a little altar thing, and the groom.
Yes,
The dude?
the man getting married.
Yeah. Okay. The groom's dad did whatever course or thing he needed to do so that he could legally marry
so
people.
he
He became a justice of the peace.
Yeah. So he became the priest dude doing it.
Yeah.
And then after that, we set up they have a business, and the backyard of the business, they set up tables and tents and shit. And it was just like, it was all with the family and everything. So bubble as much as you could. And then came home for like a day, and then went out to Lloydminster for a week for work.
So essentially, you're one of the bigger risk factors.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh God. That's why the boys were hanging out last night. I'm like, I can't join.
That's fair.
Out of my good
I
conscience.
get that. I'm the same way when I've been at work, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to.
And even with this one, I'm just like, I don't know, I showed up to this one, but something to do.
No, that's different though. If you had symptoms, I would say it's a different matter. And also that technically you could argue at this point, based on the fact that we've already spent time together, we are the version of extended family where we spend time together already in person. So more often than not, it doesn't matter since we already share the same space.
Yeah, like I could consider you guys part of my bubble.
Yeah,
it's like my bubble's some immediate family and then some friends.
Yep.
That you hang out with most part.
And then like my bubble is just like, the health region.
It's all
everyone
of
who
them.
comes into St. Paul's.
Yeah, everyone who comes to St. Paul's. And like a few dogs.
Come say hi.
Yeah.
But then it's funny because like I've done all that, and I've tried to kind of be a little smart about it, but I haven't really. And then I was sitting there chatting with my mom at our kitchen table, and some cousins of mine from BC. There's that whole like, oh, you shouldn't be traveling internationally or anywhere. So a lot of people started saying, oh, it's time to travel Canada and see what Canada has. And so they've been kind of doing some. I think they were in Alberta for a little while, and then they're coming to Saskatchewan. And they were trying to find a place to stay kind of thing. So they're like, hey, can we stay at your guys' house? And I was like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
You're sitting there going like, why the fuck are you traveling right now? It's a terrible idea.
Well, exactly. Or like even the sense of like, good for them for distancing. But even having a wedding right now is a bit like, why? Because everyone else cancels. Like even my brother's friend, same thing. They went through with it. And they had everyone, and they still had people coming in and like indoors, and they took less. So at least they took some care. But I still look at that, and I'm like, why? Just wait, just wait a little bit.
Well, see, my idea, and so as my mom pointed out, it's kind of a guy's idea. My thought was you could go to the town hall or whatever, get the official certificate, and just do it like a legal thing where it's like, okay, you're legally married now, and then just wait till this all blows over before you're having the actual wedding. And she goes, yeah, but there's always a chance she's going to get pregnant, and you don't want to have a wedding when you're pregnant, and then just life happens, and it's hard to set up a time to, I guess, to do the whole ceremony and everything.
You save a lot of money.
That's what I was saying, man. You save a lot of money.
No, that's not the wedding is supposed to be a big event. I get that.
I don't understand that whole thing, man.
But that's just some people view it as such a huge thing. I think that the legally and like the legally binding part is the big thing because that actually has ramifications. And obviously, you're professing your love for someone that like, hey, like I know that one comedian said the joke like, I'm betting you that I'm betting that we're going to be together forever, or half my shit's gone, or like whatever. But at the same time, I think that some people do view it as like it's such an event. You want to remember your wedding day, and it's such a huge opportunity. But for me, I remember my sister had a smaller one. Same thing. I'm going to invite as few people as possible. Only the people that I actually care about. And then like my family, of course, some extent. But a lot of my cousins, I'll say, sorry, you can't come. I have no problem doing that.
Wow.
And like even if they invite me to theirs, I have no problem cutting out a lot of them and just saying I'll invite the mums and the dads of the cousins, and I don't need any of the cousins. Or if I do, it'll be only my like certain cousins I like.
Dan, can we just live stream your wedding?
Oh no, well that's after a point where someone can tolerate me for long.
Someone lowers their standards enough.
If someone gets to a point, like let's say
When
comes
Riley loves
in
him
and comes in from a drug-induced coma, then wakes up and realizes that they only have 2 more years left to live, and that they only have about maybe 10% functional like mental capabilities. At that point, I sweep in and I say, I have the color red. You like the color red. We can go together, and then that's the end of it.
I mean, you've won me over.
See, that's how he does it.
Like a patient comes in who's OD'd or comatose or something like that. They wake up and they're already married.
Yeah,
to Dan.
I married them while they've been comatose. The hospital will totally sign off on it.
Yep.
Now
Doctor officiated it.
but essentially what you're saying is like, sorry, you continue because we lost our point.
I had a
We
point.
had a point?
Well, yeah, because remember we're going around you traveling and whether or not.
Yeah.
like,
I don't know. It's just like, from the one side, I get it, where it's a serious thing, and like traveling, and you're just spreading it, and the communal spread is what's really killing us right now.
Yep.
And it's just like, we had it under control, and then some idiot travels from one province to another and fucks it all up.
or actually, quite frankly, the biggest thing is the bar scene.
Yeah.
People in the bar and actually, unfortunately, too, the gym scene. Both of them huge.
Gym.
Gym.
Once they start opening up like concerts
Yep,
or
that's gonna just make it worse.
yeah, there's or schools. Once we see the effects of school happening, oh fuck.
Like even my school right now, like I don't think we're like even then they're still not sure whether or not we're gonna be able to. Like we really hope. He's like we still might be distanced the whole year. We don't know.
Yeah. Okay, but you're doing like IT stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I'm doing so like it's super easy to do over a computer. But for example, the guys who come in like sales guys, like the trades guys that come in, they're really kind of fucked.
You're
'Cause
fucked.
you need the practical. You can read about it all day, but you need to do it. That's anyway. So they have to come in like the welding guys have to come in, and they come in groups of like 2 to 3, super low groups, very spread apart. But they're there. They're the only people that are really there are them and some of the nurses. Now, because the only problem too is even the hospitals, they don't want the nurse and students on the ward because they're increasing the vector of infection. Because now you're a student out and about at bars more likely, and you come in then to the hospital. So yeah,
And again, it's because people just can't not be social.
That's
That's fucking what we do.
I know. But like as an introvert myself, like as jokes aside, I am introvert. I like to bug Sil because it's weird. I was telling Sil, it's like you know what it is. It feels like I'm in an extended sleepover or something. Like it doesn't feel like I'm living with someone yet
It's just
because I
a lot
don't know
of-
what it is to live with someone.
It's a lot of fun.
Well,
It is.
I think it's just because Dan's never had a roommate.
No.
I'm thinking like within 2 weeks he'll have toned down and the like novel factor will have worn off.
The honeymoon phase is
yeah,
over.
the honeymoon phase.
And then
is
I'll
over.
just start ignoring him and just pretend like he's not there. But I'll still use his dogs. No, you don't want that. No, Sil does not want that.
Still's gonna be at his doorway.
He's gonna be at my doorway. I'll admit I did a loss where I was going with that after a while because we got into that and
Oh,
I
it's
started
just-
thinking about
People being social, and
Yeah.
it's like everyone stay home, and you go, oh, we can't travel internationally. Let's travel Canada. And you're like,
no.
no, that wasn't the
People
Like,
need to be more
I-
introverted. That's what I was getting around to. People need to be more
I'm
introverted.
fine with like the people who like take out their RVs and go camping out in
Yes.
the woods for a couple of weeks or something like that. That's cool. You're out and about in nature, you know, nowhere near people and that kind of stuff. You might give COVID to like a deer or something like that.
fuck that dude.
Cross species.
Yeah, and it's
Just
like
'cause
you
I was
know
making
those
out with
ones.
the deer.
Those ones are you know, you're very isolated. But then you have like the people doing cross Canada trips, stopping in major city centers.
yeah,
and
let's go
stuff like
visit
that.
Montreal. It's
Yeah.
like, no, let's not do that.
Are they still in a pretty bad spot over east?
I haven't even looked.
I don't know.
Probably
know. I don't
that's
follow
like
the
just the
news.
population wise.
I just wait till they tell me stuff.
So
And then you have people like we're trying to sneak over the fucking border.
Yeah, that
Into
one pissed me off.
Canada.
Like because like you can't stop them because if they're driving to Alaska,
technically they're allowed to.
they're allowed to. But then you find people who's driving from Washington to Alaska, but they're in, Ontario.
Yeah.
Like,
Or just hanging out in Edmonton or something.
what the fuck you doing?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Is like even as an introvert though, I can still kind of understand It's like I can be at home for 3 weeks straight, and eventually you get to that point where you're like, I just need to see somebody. I need to talk with someone.
That's fair. But like, I guess you're right. And again, I think that I'm talking from a level of I know how much I normally want to socialize, and like I'm comfortable, like really quite comfortable being alone for long periods of time. I got no problem with that.
Dan's
And
gonna
like,
break down eventually and call like the phone sex lines.
no, not even phone sex lines. I'll just call and be like, I just want to talk.
Dan's calling the National Suicide Hotline. It's just, I wanna talk.
It's like, sir, you can't call in here unless it's life threatening. It might be in time. No, like I think the biggest thing is I always look at it. I'm like, you know what? Like I understand that it's an epidemic. So I even myself, I probably some things I wouldn't mind doing. Like I wouldn't mind, and like I should go to the gym more, but I wouldn't mind going to the gym and not wearing a mask because like it sucks to constantly have a mask on. But I understand that it's there, so I take. It's like you take the hit for the team. Like, okay, I'll put on a mask to be respectful. Even then, I shouldn't probably be there, and I know that. But it's a part of life that I don't want to give up just because mentally I need it.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so I guess I view people and I go, why can't you just be like follow the rules? Like, and even if people need to see other people, I get that. But if you follow the rules, we wouldn't have these problems. Like if people came back and said distance, outdoors, and I know it's impossible to maintain all the time, especially in bars. You get drunk, you get close. But I get upset because I'm like, it would just take a little bit of effort on everyone's part for this whole thing to go away. But it's because some assholes don't do anything. It makes everyone vulnerable. And I hate that.
Now, I think I saw on the news that the government is now recommending that people wear masks while they have sex.
See, that
What?
doesn't make sense to me because
you're
already
Body fluids.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Does it
to me.
spread with body fluid though, or is it just air
It's
particles?
droplet precaution, so it has to be through. It can be through any sort of droplet.
Wait,
I don't know whether or not it's
Does it come
actually
through like sweat? Like,
no, my understanding of it is
Pee?
we understand droplet as any droplet that could come off them. More often than not, I feel like it's like coughed or something that's spewed out because it's respiratory. I feel like it's mainly.
yeah.
I don't know. I do not know the science of it, but I know for often we consider droplet any sort of thing that could come off. Even droplet, if we're giving them a nebulizer, so essentially we're giving them oxygen mixed with vapor. Even if we give them that is a risk because it's a droplet. Even if they breathe it out, that droplet goes in the air, we're in trouble.
Right.
So I don't know.
But all of that is you're saying droplet from the mouth though. So like other bodily fluids.
That's why I don't know. But I'm
wonder.
just saying in the hospital we consider droplet to be any body fluid.
Okay.
Any mucous membrane. I mean that means like anus, vagina, penis, anything.
Yeah.
Any mucous
I was
membrane.
gonna say because like if you pee on someone, Sylvan might want to know.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm thinking is like they wear a mask, so like GIMP masks.
There might be a GIMP mask, but then GIMP mask won't work because you usually do the mouth open with a zipper.
yeah, you just zip it shut.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the zipper is not nearly good of a filtration system. Not for droplet.
I mean, it is latex, right?
It's not good enough. Yeah, but the zipper is not. The zipper is too open of a channel.
Okay, so it's like
Zippers are
what you need is like just a balaclava of latex.
Yes, essentially.
What about like the ball?
Ball
gag
gag.
ball?
Ball gag.
Yeah, you drool around it, so you're actually doing worse. Yeah, that doesn't actually work out that well. We had one time I think we had an incident. I thought there was one incident with one COVID patient that was using sex toys, and they had to like kind of talk to them and be like, hey, if you're using these and then going outside, like that's a lot of mucous membrane on your hands. Like you need to be washing. You need to be doing things.
You would hope they'd be washing after doing their shit.
No, but you don't understand the general people. No, the amount of things that I've seen. I guess that's just the hospital, but I've seen.
Yeah.
My expectation for humanity in general has just lowered drastically since working there. And I know that's most. I see the worst. The worst.
Yeah.
I know I see the worst. But I can't change my mindset to understand that that's just. I'm like, wow, this is what people are capable of.
Yeah. Oh, it's just there's so many things where you're like, this is common sense to me. Like, how do you not worry about tomorrow? And they're like, fuck tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or right now.
Or even like example, like I was at my parents' place. I'm like, why don't you guys? I'm like, you should never keep anything out in the open. Like even in your backyard. I'm like, people jump and steal it. Like that's from what I and that's because I expected. Like no, it's a nice, and I realize it's a nice neighborhood. The chances are they're not going to come in. I'm like, you should bolt down your barbecue in case they come to steal that.
That's like the difference between the guy that did like 22nd or 33rd, the stores in Saskatoon here. Every call he goes to, he locks his doors and he padlocks the back of the truck.
Yeah.
The guy, when I was doing Kinderly run, he wouldn't lock any doors and he'd leave the key in the ignition of the truck. I'm just like, fuck, man, what a difference.
That's when you start to realize, like, yeah, we're like, because I grew up very sheltered, and so when the hospital hit me, it was like a fresh dose of Jesus Christ. This is what other people go through.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah. But no, I think long story short, all we can do as far as the epidemic is watch your symptoms. See if you're symptomatic, you're febrile, you're anything, you have a fever, right? You're coughing. Then yeah, play it safe. Like even you were saying yesterday, you want to come and you're like, I probably shouldn't. Yeah, that's probably a good discretion.
That was a good discretion, but I will say in my defense, like I haven't felt any symptoms whatsoever.
Of course.
Could be asymptomatic, so that's no guarantee.
But and I think that also comes with the rest of the party because like I have no problem taking the risk. I don't mind. Like if you're symptomatic, if I get COVID, I know I'm not at a point where I'm at a life risk. Like COVID cannot kill me unless I have my lungs are at a state that I don't know they're at, which I can breathe normally and I can do cardio. So I'm pretty sure not. But then people I love, but then I would avoid them for 2 weeks, whatever. They'd understand.
At least I can say I did the barest minimum of asking everyone here,
Yeah, of
are you
course.
okay with me?
That's all you can do.
It's
We
not
took
even like a good. That's not even a good thing. Like people just say, just don't be there.
Yeah,
That's
true.
the right answer. But
But then that's the thing. You can go one way or the other. You can go completely. Oh, everything's loosey goosey. We can be fine, or you can be 100% strict. I think that realistically, humans cannot be 100% strict. We can be somewhere in the middle. Where we go. I'll wear a mask out in the grocery store, but I still want to see my grandma, or not grandma. I want to see my family. I want to see my friends.
yeah,
And it's impossible to try to corral people for that long. I understand that.
yeah. Well, and the biggest thing I've realized is just like fuck, myself included. We're all just we're hypocrites.
Oh, absolutely.
In so many ways.
I actually, here, case in point, I'm the biggest. I work in the COVID unit. For the first month and a half of COVID, I wasn't wearing a mask out in public. Like an idiot. And I didn't realize until after. I'm fucking retarded. 'Cause, like, I'm not symptomatic, but I am literally one of the number one, other than like the Hutterites or the people in the bars, I'm the number one risk factor.
Yeah.
Because I'm with them constantly. I'm with positive patients. So I remember that, and I really had to shake my head and go, God, you're stupid. And I change it from there. So at least I've learned.
You try to learn.
Yeah.
But
I think we can only do the best that we can do.
But even like regular life situations, I find myself doing it so many times. Like an example is driving. It's just like I watch someone do something stupid. I'm like, oh, you're a fucking terrible driver. What are you fucking doing, you idiot?
Yeah.
And then I do something stupid myself, and I'm like,
oh God, I'm so sorry.
yeah. And it's like, oh, but I have a reason. I have an excuse. There's a reason why I'm doing this.
I think as long as you learn from it, though, that's the only difference. Like, cause I've nearly hit people because I'm really bad with my phone and I'll look at texts
man.
and I shouldn't, and I've nearly hit people for that. I remember the last one I stopped and like I'm better now. Like I don't do it as often. I still do it from time to time, and I catch myself and be like, fucking idiot, put it away.
Yeah, what are you doing?
But like at least if I feel like if you learn from it, you're not. If you don't learn from it and keep repeating it, then I think you know that's shit. But if you can learn from it.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, where you go like you're so quick to judge other people, then you do the same thing and go, I'm so sorry, you didn't see me here.
Yeah.
Like you almost like hide your head in shame.
Yeah. Or it wasn't my fault because.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I was thinking another thing it's kind of funny at the wedding. An uncle of mine was doing a speech because he's father of the bride. So the father and the mother went up and do a speech of some kind. And he's one of the most. He's like Dan at a party. He's talking with everyone. He's always chatting with someone, super energetic, super friendly, talkative. When you're trying to kick him out the door at the end of the night, he'll sit at the door and talk to you for another half an hour, like just constant, nonstop. But it comes to the wedding, and he's chatting with us, and he's friendly and all that. But he's like, man, I'm so nervous and worried about doing the speech. Like I'm so anxious about it. I'm like,
Why?
this is what you do.
Yeah.
Like this is you, man. And he goes, no, I'm really bad with public speaking. And so he goes up there, and like the other parents do the speech, and they did a really nice speech. It was really good. And then him and his wife go up to do the speech, and the wife does good talking. And then it goes to him, and he's reading off the paper, and like he's whispering into the microphone. You can barely hear him. He's struggling to get through it, and you're just like, man, what a difference. And just how some people are so good at public speaking, some aren't, and even the people you think would be good at it aren't. I don't know. It's fascinating to me.
Oh yeah, like well, I guess that's essentially expectations. So you expect something from someone, and then they come up short. Or like I remember, like growing up, and I always viewed like uncles and aunts and said, "You're very professional," or like they'd always dress up and something like that. And then, or like they're very well put together and say something, and they go to speak, and they're either like super unsure of themselves or like very self conscious. I go, I'm like, that makes no sense to me. Or like it's like anyone, right? I remember even with my ex, I had moments where I'd be like, to her, I'd be like, "You're beautiful." I'm like, by every stand, but then it doesn't matter what I say to them. And she would still be self-conscious, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, I parade you around like a trophy. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I can't see that. But that's like anyone, right? I think you're your own worst enemy. Everyone always thinks that your own thing is the worst. Like I know I'm the best roommate because I'm the best roommate, not because my ego protects me. No.
Actually, we were kind of talking about that before the podcast, where my comment was, it is so extremely hard to change your own mind on something.
I'm very easy to change my mind on it. No,
Yeah.
You, Dan.
No, but no. If I get facts presented towards me, like I will die on my sword.
Okay. Not like a thing where it's just like this is black, and someone goes, "No, here's facts. It's white." And you go, "Oh, okay, it's white."
Oh.
I'm talking like
Mentality.
self-confidence or like,
Yeah.
someone says, "Oh, you're a nice person." You're like, "Well, I'm not a nice person."
I am a total piece of shit.
And then
I'm
people try to
human
convince
garbage.
you you're a nice person. They're like, but example A, B, and C, and you're like, no,
I think I know me pretty well.
I'm pretty sure I'm an asshole.
But then, on the same token, though, you could actually say that, like genuinely, psychological though. If you tell someone enough times they are something, eventually, even though you don't want to believe it, like I know it's a weird thing with your own self. You're like, no, I'm not good, or this thing I cooked is shit. And even though you say that, everyone else is like, no, it's really good. You're like, no, it's not good enough. You're always your own worst critic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I know. I'm trying to think of a good way to put it now, actually, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, I think one of the things that I learned is when you're trying something and trying to get better at something, you're not looking for perfection. You're looking for done.
yeah.
Mm.
And like my nanny put, progress, not perfection. It's actually a really good quote because like you're never gonna be perfect, but if you keep trying. But I think that like,
Because I mean, like you look at like when we started with this podcast, it was absolute garbage.
well, it's still garbage. Still garbage. It's like varying degrees of garbage.
Now it's polished garbage.
You're right. It's polished garbage. That's like we have the equipment
Man,
and we actually.
this turd is gonna shine.
Yeah,
Shine.
like before we were just like a pile of garbage on the curb. Now we're fancy enough that we put it in like an art museum and people actually think that
Yeah.
it's important.
Because we put a plaque on it.
Yeah.
And we put it in glass.
Le garbage.
Yeah, the garbage.
It has the accent on it. That's how you know it's
But
fancy.
I think that, but going back to what you said, I think that innately, yeah, it's hard to change your mind on something or to say I'm actually a good person. But the best way to put it, and like and even for myself, like I've had to work on that a lot because I have a lot of negative self-talk. I think everyone does. But my biggest thing is that like I look at it and I keep saying to myself, I'm like, no, that's not you talking. Like that's your fears, your anxiety, or something else talking. And I'll just keep saying like, no, look at what you've done, this and this, and I'll try to list it out. And then eventually, like I've gotten to a point where like I'm very open about everything with myself. I know my faults, I know my strengths, but like I can now at least I can come to a point where I can say I'm a nice person. More often than not, like I like to troll and everything, but I know more often than not I lean towards things that help other people.
Yeah.
Or in some way or another. So I know that, and I didn't believe it. And there's still times where I'm like, I don't, but I litter and I do other things. But then I just keep hammering it home, and then eventually it's almost like repetition. You keep saying it to yourself, you're gonna believe it eventually, and then you'll kind of see it. And like now, before, where I would view people and I'd form ideas or opinions about them, like those are wrong, and like obviously some stereotypes. But now, like I know that I'm more or less like I can be quite a decent judge of people. Like I can not judge of people, I can read people decently, and now I trust my opinion on it. And not saying like, oh, I'm right every time. I can see inside your. No, I can't. I'm probably wrong 50% of the time, but I more or less trust myself, and I'm like, I wonder if they're struggling, and then like I'll or anything like that, right? And so I can actually trust my own opinion on it now, whereas before I didn't, and because I've started telling myself, I'm like, you know what, you're sometimes you're right, maybe you're not always wrong, right? So I know you just have to keep telling yourself, repetition until eventually.
Dan believes he's such a nice person that he will show up on your first date just to make sure that everything goes fantastic.
There
for you.
is nothing. Okay, you know what the best way to put it? Let's just put it in the dirt right now. The best way to put it is like my sister. It's an aggressive sort of love, because it's a love. It's a love that says, I don't care if you don't want me to be part of your life. I'm going to be part of your life, and I'm going to watch. And I didn't want. Okay, maybe I want to experience it with him. Okay, and it's fun. It's like he's on a date, and like because I remember. And the biggest thing. Okay, with that though, let's get back to. With that, it was like, because I remember seeing Matt, like, when we were first, like, remember when we first started to work out, like, I always enjoyed him, because he's always and he's a kind, truly kind human being, right? And, like, I've always tried to emulate that. I can be kind in doses, but, like, he's truly to the bone kind, right? I have moments where I'm in the car and flipping people off, or I'm yelling at Sil, because he beat me with Dota characters, and, yeah, that's okay, and I get that, that's human, but, like, for him, he's truly kind, but I just remember, like, oh, okay, now I'm losing my train of thought again because I keep looking at the Dota game. I admit, I'm sorry.
My bad.
Sorry, train of thought. Where was I going with that?
Dan, like someone's gonna be having a baby, right?
Yes,
and they're gonna be in the delivery room.
Aggressive
and Dan's,
love.
Yeah.
And Dan's just going to be inside the delivery room with the couple.
thumbs up, being
thumbs
like-
up, like yeah,
No,
good
but
job,
like,
guys.
The aggressive with Matthew, the biggest thing is I saw him when he went from a confidence point of here, right? And you could tell, because like even the way he sits, like I sit now, like you can always tell when someone's bigger, so they'll constantly fluff out their shirt because they don't want their stomach to stick and stuff like that. And then anyway, but I saw him go from that from like no, but I saw him. But oh, shut up! Like any one of you can do it. Like come on. Anyway, but the biggest thing with Matt is I saw him go from that to a point where he was coming into his own. He was liking himself, right? He didn't hate himself anymore. He actually enjoyed it. And when it showed outwards, anyway, so when he went on a date with her, like, okay, it's a bit creepy. I admit it in retro. It is a bit. But like I truly want to sit there. I'm like, I want to see the full fruit, the full cycle. I want to see him now at his apex. Like this is him out dating, like going on dates with girls. And like none of these girls were ugly. They were all good looking girls, like well put together. And I know that's shallow, but from the surface, I go, he's not out with lemons. The man's out with these girls, and he's comfortable, and he's dressed nice, and he's looking good. I'm like, I want to be there for it. It's fun because it's like, I don't know. It's you get to see it come to fruition, and that's the enjoyable part. So afterwards, yeah, it was a bit creepy. I did leave. I didn't stay the whole date. I left.
Dan wants to be there at all the major key events.
So like that's the big thing. So more so, my sister put it, it's an aggressive love. It's a love, but it's an aggressive love.
Dan wants to be there when you lose your virginity.
Oh, I do want to hear about it though.
Dan
With
wants to be the
Matthew. No, okay, not in like a creepy way, but with Matthew, I even told him I want to be the first to know. I want a phone call. I don't care if it's at 2 a.m. I want to know when it happens because that's the same thing with him. Like I called him at like 1 or whatever a.m.
Call him during.
I've texted him during once, but I texted him pictures. What? That was a bit too far.
What?
That was a bit too far. I shouldn't have done that. That was a bit too far.
Okay,
You'll tell me that one after.
That's after. That's not on podcast. That's on podcast material. That's
the fuck.
But
You have
But
something?
yeah, like the thing with Matthew and going back to your like, it's really hard to change yourself. Matt actually did it because he was telling us me afterwards. It was in his own mind. He was like, I just got to fake it until I make it. So like he basically made a persona for himself that had confidence, and then over like it's just like going to the gym. You like just even though it sucks, it's really hard. You do it for whatever it is, 40 days or whatever, and it becomes routine. It just becomes the new normal. All of a sudden, the new normal is Matt has confidence. He just that personality he created became the new Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I pretend I have a big dick, I'll eventually have a big dick.
I mean,
Yes.
But the thing is, if you be self-conscious about your dick, going out with the impression of it's good enough, or like it'll do the job. I know it'll do the job.
She'll do
You go with that mindset enough times, eventually, like you said. But still, that's a good point. It becomes like a mental routine. I think it's the same thing, like repetition. Do it over and over and over until
if you just hammer in positive reinforcement,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, that's just how you're gonna think.
Exactly, and you start and like I'm still working on that because I'm still negative as fuck. I can't help it. That's just the way every once in a while it happens. But I'm always trying to work on it. Where I'm like, hey, like for example, like I'll go on like a losing spree and I'll lose 3 Trent games in a row, and I sit there and normally I get down on myself because I would literally equate that to my own value, and now I go, it's a video game. You lost because you are a support who has very little control over the game, and you're just having fun. I'm like, it doesn't matter, and then I flip it now where I go. Now the next game will be against worse ranked people. It'll be an easier game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so you just work on little things.
Yeah. I guess the tough one with that is not so much like say the confidence thing, but like a decision, a big life decision. For me, a big one a while ago was with a new job where I'd started the job and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to stick with this. And it just like, you always have that gut instinct. And you're kind of like, oh, my gut instinct tells me this. And then you try and convince yourself, no, I should, the other thing. Like, my gut instinct was leave the job. But you kept trying to convince myself, like, oh, there's so many reasons why you should stay with the job. And what to think about this and that and your future prospects and career and blah, blah, blah. And you're just constantly trying to change your own mind. But it's every single time, I'm like, man, but I really just want to leave
Your
this
true
job.
nature is, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my idea of, like, trying to convince yourself to something else. Where
You're almost trying to fool yourself.
You're trying to fool yourself. Where you're like, but all this other things, you really got to make this other decision. But at the end of the day, your mind just goes, but I really want this other thing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess that's the one thing, though. It's just like listening to what you want, right? And then the same thing, reason why I'm going, like, obviously I was going to go back to school, but truly working at one point, I was sitting there at the hospital. I'm like, I can be content with this. Maybe I can just do this. And I sat there for a while, but then, and the only way I can explain it is like, there's no like internal decision. I went, no, I need to do this. It's literally it's literally my mind going, you can do more than this. You know, you can do more than this. This isn't your potential. And that voice over and over, and like, no, and that's not me consciously thinking, you know, I want to make a difference. I don't fucking know. It's my voice into my side saying, you're going to feel guilty if you just work this the rest of your life because you know you could have done more. And that voice is the one that says, hey, and that's the one that kind of motivates you. I don't know. It's your own nature. It's what you're comfortable with. Like, in all honesty, if I could work minimum wage and be comfortable with it and like be okay, that'd be sweet. And I wouldn't have to worry about. I wouldn't have to worry about school or this or textbooks. I just work and be okay with that. But no, I know now, especially going to work, I got sick of it. I'm like, I hate menial shit. I don't want to do this. I want to do something where I get to make something or something meaningful. I'm not saying my job. I'm not. That sounds like I'm dissing every other support staff in the hospital. I'm not. It's just that to me, it's not like I'm not utilizing.
Well, you just don't feel fulfilled. In
Yeah,
your job.
thank you. That's a good way to put it. Fulfilled.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm fulfilled with our relationship, so.
Oh, I am very much not.
What? It's too late. I'm already in.
He's fulfilled with yogurt.
I'm like a dick.
Oh no, he's not. There's never enough.
There's
yogurt.
another bag in there. I still got to polish it off when I get back.
Like seriously, that's like 6 kilograms of yogurt
Yes.
in like a week.
I have a very active digestive system.
Does yogurt have a lot of calories or no?
Yeah, it does. It's pretty calorically dense.
Okay, so you
I-
just have a bowl of yogurt and
No, it's not a bowl. He just drinks it straight out of the
Right
Okay,
out of the
but,
bag.
like,
Like
Dan's-
a goon, like a wine
a
sack.
bucket equivalent of yogurt.
Yeah. So what I do is essentially
What we
my,
call
my
a fuck
diet.
ton.
My diet is decently sugary because yogurt has the sugar in it. Yogurt also, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad food for you. It's the same thing like saying rice isn't a bad carb. It's still a carb.
Yeah.
So yogurt is a little bit calorically dense. Any dairy is more or less, I feel like,
Okay.
calorically dense. So I have yogurt, and then, long story short, my diet is not good right now because I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting until I actually get to a point where I'm fully moved in, and then I'll actually start like cooking.
Now, Dan, what I'm imagining is at some point you're just gonna hook an IV up to your veins with just yogurt pouring into
And
it.
ginger ale in the other. Yogurt and ginger ale, but you know what? And again, it's for me. It's because I love, and I was telling him still this, like, irregardless of weed or anything else, I've always had a huge appetite. I've always wanted to eat a lot. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to eat, and my family called me and it's not a joke. Like I am the Gerbraid or the thing they said.
Carburetor?
You know the sink.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm that to the family. Like anything that no one else wants, I'm like, yeah, I'll have it. And then like they'll say, what about leftovers? And like my family will laugh and say, there won't be. Right? They'll literally, like they know. And so innately, like I like to have large quantities where I can have it quick and be done with it. Because I can cook, but I don't necessarily enjoy it. I just want to be full, so I'm not hungry anymore.
Right.
I don't care what's going in there. I just want, like, that's why I'm really good also with, like, if I just have a bag of broccoli. I'm weird like that. I'll eat a whole fucking bag of broccoli
Jesus,
because it's
dude.
there.
Okay, I think that's where I got lucky, where it's like, yeah, metabolism plays a part, but the fact that I'm kind of very skinny is the fact that I start eating something and I'll just get tired of it.
Yeah.
Or I'm
See,
like-
I never get tired.
I could
of
be
it.
eating a giant, delicious, amazing steak, and at a point where I'm like, all right, I've ate half the steak, I'm feeling pretty full. Like I'm just
I'm
bored.
done chewing.
I'm bored of this meal.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I can't even imagine. No, until I'm either full or nauseously full, I don't stop.
The meal isn't over when I'm full. The meal is over when I hate myself.
Actually,
Which
pretty
I've,
accurate.
I've done that, but it's
Yeah.
just like, or like even candy bars. I'm like, I have 2 candy bars. I'll eat one, and I'll be like, no, I'm good.
Ray
Okay.
gets halfway through, gets bored, and then the halftime show pops on, and he gets pumped up again. Like,
Yeah.
like
Go do-
there's
Go
there's
do some
the
homework, come back to it.
Or even I was saying to Sil, like if I was to have like a bad McDonald's trip, like one that I was there for one reason, essentially I get the same thing every time: 10-piece chicken McNugget meal with a poutine, with a drink, and then I get anywhere from 4 to 5 extra burgers on top of that.
What?
this
Wait,
sounds
wait,
like a
wait,
Harold
wait.
and Kumar kind of thing.
Yeah.
4 to 5 extra burgers. You're talking like McDoubles, Junior
Yeah.
Chickens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get 40 sliders and a
God.
Or-
Diet
or
Coke.
I'll
Just
get it-
that is more than I can eat.
Or I'll get a 20-pack of McNuggets and I'll do like 3 to 4 burgers. But like, and that's the thing, because like, I was telling Sil, at heart, I'm an morbidly obese man.
Damn.
Based just on the soul that I move slightly around and I can maintain, and I go to the gym, but I haven't since I've been moving, but I will again.
Yeah.
Just because I'm slightly active, but yeah, I have the heart and soul of a morbidly obese black man.
Okay, that is the difference of stomach
Black
size, man.
black man.
You
Because-
are the pastiest white person on the planet.
Inside, on all levels except physical, I am black.
I want to tap into this, man.
No, because you know what it is.
You're like
for
gangster
anyone else
rap.
that's not listening, I just have a weird thing where every single game I play, my avatar is black. I make every one of them. Every option I have to make the guy as dark as possible. I like it.
Is this that kind of similar to the thing where like people identify as a woman but they're a man? So
Yeah,
you just identify,
I identify
as
as a black man. On all levels except physical, because physically I am the. If you were looking at part of an elephant, I would be the tusk. I'm ivory. Like I'm straight up white, as white as you can be, and I understand that, and I understand a lot of my life habits probably aren't indicative of that. But I believe physiologically I am a black man.
Dan's gonna be walking around with like blackface on at some point.
No, oh dear Lord, no. I don't want.
Sweet
no,
Jesus,
I'm
no.
not doing a hate crime. But in every single game, that's why I don't ever make female avatars because I'm not a girl. I can't even put myself in their skin at any way, shape, or point. I'm not saying Actually, I am saying it's a lot easier being in a black man's skin. I'd rather be. I can identify myself as being a black avatar, but not as being a female avatar.
Okay, I'm gonna go there. What's the difference between black and white then? Where it's just like you identify as a black man instead of a white man.
I like the color more.
God damn it.
Because I truly, because like my favorite thing about it is every time I have any sort of fantasy genre, if ever the character is darker, I've liked them more.
Okay, maybe this is one of those like unattainable things where it's
Probably.
you are so white
that's probably.
that you couldn't get even a tan. So you're so fascinated by the blackness.
Maybe it is like that because I know innately, like I don't even tan. You're right. I don't even get brown. Like I can't tan at all. Maybe it's, and I say that's the forbidden, or not forbidden, but that's like the unattainable. You're right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Maybe
kinda
there's
like Asian
that.
people wanting to be blonde.
It's kind of or whiter thing like that.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but every single game, back
We're
into
tapping into the psyche here.
Dan's having sexual fantasies, but instead of like a super hot girl, it's just an average-looking woman, but he's black.
or it's just no, yeah, but like no, I've yeah.
Oh, Secret's got this. Yeah.
No, and you know, and generally, I would say I would just I would like to identify more as a black man than I would like a white man.
Okay.
Most games, all of them love to have black avatars.
All right. I'm sorry, but we're gonna
call it there.
we're gonna call it there. I don't know if I don't know if that last bit is gonna make it in.
Oh, we'll find out.
Well, depending on where we end, this is the end.
Just
Yeah.
okay, like if before we end, let's
Yeah.
that's
All right.
human nature.
Thank you,
I just want
everybody.
more yogurt.
Thank you, everybody,
I
for
do want
joining
more
us.
yogurt, actually.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Yeah,
We're sorry.
Maybe next time we'll have something to talk about.
It was
we
still
had a
pretty
few.
funny. It was pretty funny. It was good. It was good. It was a good one.
I am the best black roommate. That's all anybody needs to
Did
know.
you cheat already?
All right.
Well, I mean, like,
Dude, Secret's
like
a fucking...
Secrets carry their mid lane and their off
All
lane. We're
one.
all higher net worth
I
than
didn't
anyone.
even see what else, or I think they had an Ember Spirit.
There's
Yeah.
an Ember Spirit and a Nature's Prophet.
All right. Bye, guys.
And they
Okay.
were,